No more stalks. Car guesses drive direction based on what obstacles it sees, context, and nav map. You can override on touchscreen. Interesting move, but okay. Tesla's finally refreshed the Model S and X. The exterior looks pretty similar. We've just got a black trim and a slightly redesigned nose cone. But on the interior, things have changed a lot. And there's lots to cover here. A lot of other YouTubers have already talked about it and gone over a lot of these changes. But I think the major change here is actually with the steering wheel. And this is important because besides the pedals, the steering wheel is the main way you interact with the car. It's how you steer it, that's why it's called a steering wheel. That's generally where your stalks are to control the turn signals, and on a Tesla, that is where your gear selection and autopilot controls are. And Tesla has thrown a lot of this out the window and changed a lot here, so let's dive into it and take a look. So first off, if we just kind of look at the wide view, we can see it's now got this Yoke steering wheel design, and honestly, I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I was watching some video of me driving, and I realized whenever I make a turn, the first thing I do is grab the top of the steering wheel to turn the wheel. And I'm not sure how convenient or how comfortable this will be to have this Yoke steering. I'm not sure how steering will be. And honestly, I prefer a round wheel, I think. I think that's what most people are used to. And I think if you switch to something like this, it might take a couple drives or even a couple months to get used to driving like this. Most people aren't used to this kind of steering wheel, so I could definitely see this throwing some people off. You'll notice this is also similar to the Roadster and the Cybertruck prototype. Both of those have that kind of Yoke steering wheel. Really odd design, I think, for just a regular passenger car. It makes more sense in something like the Roadster. But for a Model S or the Cybertruck, I'm honestly not sure why they didn't just go with a round wheel. The only reason I could think of that they would remove the top of the steering wheel essentially is so that you can see the dashboard screen a lot better. So I know in cars with dashboards, the top of the steering wheel is kind of in your way. You almost have to look through the steering wheel or look over top of the steering wheel, depending on what position it's in, to see the dashboard. And this design would definitely give you more visibility of that dashboard screen. So if we zoom in a little bit, right off the bat, we can see that there are no stalks here. Generally, you've got one on the left for your turn signal and wipers, and then on the right is for gear selection and autopilot. At least that's how it is in the Model 3. You can see it's a very similar setup to the Model 3 with the scroll wheels. It doesn't have all those buttons like the old Model S had. And Elon gave us a little bit of an insight into this on Twitter. He said, no more stalks. Car guesses drive direction based on what obstacles it sees, context, and nav map. You can override on touchscreen. And I think this is really odd, honestly. I really like having physical control over drive selection, especially when I'm parking and trying to do quick turns or anything like that. I like being able to quickly change my gear and know it's going to be right. I like having that control, and I almost feel like Tesla is kind of taking it a step too far with their software here. I'm not sure if it's really ready to do automatic gear selection, and I'm not sure how people are really going to like that. Not only for changing gears, but also for autopilot. I like having physical control over autopilot at all times and being able to switch it off if I need to. And obviously you could just press on the brake or jiggle the steering wheel like you would in normal autopilot, but honestly, my favorite way to break out of autopilot is just pressing up on that right stalk. It feels the safest for me. I don't have to worry about slamming on my brakes accidentally or wiggling my steering wheel too much and swerving out of my lane. So if we look a little closer on the steering wheel, I guess, we can see on the left side, we've got the normal scroll button. I'm guessing a lot of the controls will be similar to the Model 3, but then if you look really close, you can see the turn signals on there. So I'm guessing you'll be able to click those manually to activate your turn signals. Right above that, we've also got our bright symbol. So I'm guessing that'll be to flash the brights or potentially turn them on. The auto brights are actually pretty good on my car, so I'm guessing this is just to flash them, and this might light up if your brights are on. And then on the right side, we've got a little horn button, which I think is just to denote that the horn is the center of the steering wheel, just like it is on all cars. I think that might be a legal thing where they have to show where the horn is, so that might be just a physical button to activate the horn, but I'm guessing if you press on the center, it'll activate the horn as well. And then right above the scroll wheel, we've got this what looks like a cruise control symbol, and I'm guessing that is cruise control or maybe autopilot. That might be to manually engage or disengage autopilot or cruise control. Really not sure yet, but that is what the symbol looks like. And then moving along here, we've got the wiper button there as well. Right now on my car, to manually activate the wipers, you just press on the button on the left stalk. It looks like they moved that over to the right touch sensitive button now. Again, there are auto wipers for this, but this is probably to manually activate your wipers. And then in the bottom right, we've got the microphone button. So right now in my car, if you press on the right scroll wheel, that will activate the voice controls. But it looks like you might be able to actually just press that button or press the right scroll wheel. It might be similar to the horn where it's just denoting this is where to activate voice controls. Another thing I found is from an article on electric back in February of 2020. They tweeted out this new patent that Tesla was working on for steering wheel controls. And this actually looks really similar to what's now on the new Model S. So we've got the touch controls there. I'm not sure about these gear selections, if those are actually going to be on the steering wheel or it's going to be on the actual touchscreen like Elon has said in his tweet. I definitely would like there to be a quicker way to change your gears, but it looks like Tesla might be going with the touchscreen. So lots of interesting stuff here. It's hard to give a true opinion on this till I've actually driven it, and I'm definitely going to try to do that as soon as I can get my hands on one of these refreshed Model S or X's. And I'm interested to see how this will play out in the real world. Is this automatic gear selection going to be good, or is it just going to be kind of wonky and tough to deal with? And how will autopilot work with this non-stock steering wheel? Is there going to be an easy way to turn that on or off, or is it just going to turn on and off automatically? I feel like that might be a little bit dangerous. But I think a big thing to take away from this is that Tesla is slowly inching forward towards a driverless car. I think this is kind of an intermediary step between the steering wheel and getting rid of the steering wheel completely. I don't know if that's metaphorically being done with this weird yoke control. They're removing part of the steering wheel, and then in the future they're just going to remove it completely. But yeah, I guess we'll see. So that's all for this one, guys. Thank you so much for checking it out. I wanted to do a slightly different video here. I feel like most people are just kind of reading off the specs or going over changes in the new Model S, and I wanted to kind of take a deeper dive into the steering wheel here because I really think it's the most interesting part of this new Model S. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. That is all for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.